soda over here that I'm going to pour in a second. And I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a story time. I actually just got home from a cruise to the Caribbean. It was an 8-night cruise that I took with my family, my husband, and 2 adult children. And we haven't been on a vacation since before COVID, believe it or not. It's been a really long time, so I will tell you all about that. But first thing I'm gonna do is take a chip. Okay, we did not want to fly anywhere. And New York, and New York is a pretty, big port, so they have some ships. I mean, not that many in the wintertime, but, a few. Enough. So we found one cruise that fit our needs in terms of, timing and a decent ship, new and all that. And everyone checked their schedule and cleared it and all. It was the Carnival Venezia, which is a pretty new ship. I believe it was built in 2019 for Costa Cruise Line as a different ship, and it's like the sister of Carnival. So they just switched over to Carnival in, I think, May or June of 2023, so very recently, and they like redid all the interiors and everything and gave it an Italian theme, hence the name Venezia. And it's really beautiful and modern and big. Granted, I've been on 3 cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Carnival. And Carnival, out of the 3, is the, I don't want to say the worst, but it's not the best. It is the worst of the 3. It's nice, it's good. The only thing is their food is very plentiful, very interesting, but it's like just average tasting, which is okay. Because the fact that there's so much of it makes you feel better about the fact that it just tastes average, I mean, if you're not a foodie, then you wouldn't have a second thought, but if you're used to like eating in, a lot of nice upscale restaurants, this ain't that, okay? So anyway, we booked it really early. We booked it over the summer, this past summer, so that we would be able to choose the cheapest cabin in the balcony category, because the other types of rooms are just too small. I just can't deal with those little shoebox rooms. So we got 2 balcony cabins right next to each other. One for me and my husband, one for my kids. And paid the deposit, which was, I think, $500 per room. And it said, okay, your next payment will be due in October something. Okay. We had given them my husband's email address, and that was it. And everyone was getting excited, even though it was far into the future. It would be in January. Well, come November, I started thinking, we haven't paid anything towards that cruise. I can't remember when we were supposed to pay it. I haven't heard anything. So I said to my husband, did you hear anything? I think they have your email address. Did they send you an email? So he starts looking, and he's like, no, I can't find anything. So I look online. I look up our, confirmation number, and it's canceled. Like, they canceled our trip. And he says they never sent me anything. So I call up, and I get like, how some of these customer service things work. They farm it out to like just some lady sitting in her kitchen, which is what it was. I could tell. She just didn't know anything. But anyway, she looks it up. She says, yeah, it's been canceled. Can I help you with anything else? Bye. Like, she was literally like, okay, whatever. Because she didn't understand that I was not trying to find out that it was canceled. I was trying to, fix the problem. So I said, well, can I fix this? Can I get it back? She says those rooms are no longer available. You have to take different rooms. So, of course, to make a long story short, the next she's like, you know, like a cabana, you know what a cabana is? I'm like, yeah. Well, what does that mean? That it's a cabana room? She's like, it's a cabana room. I'm like, I get it, you said that already. Like, what does it mean? What is the difference? Is it bigger? She's like, no, it's not any bigger, because she looks at the numbers. She had no idea. I said to her, is it just that it's like beach themed? She's like, that must be it. So I'm like, great, we're spending all this extra money for a beach themed room. Meanwhile, my husband keeps scrolling through his phone while I am there on the phone with this lady, and he finds out they did send him an email in October asking for the money. But he's whispering to me, he's like, but it's so small, you wouldn't have seen it either. Okay. Whatever, right? So, we fixed the problem. Now, I had looked up after I got off the phone with this woman and paid for these rooms in full. I looked up cabana rooms. It's called Terrazza Cabana rooms, cabins. It's actually a major upgrade in a really good way, and I wish she would have told me at the time. I would have felt better about it. These rooms, instead of having your typical balcony where you just walk out and then look down into the ocean, you know, where you have like room enough for 2 chairs, like 2 little chairs, and then you're like right on the ocean. These rooms have like almost a patio with the 2 lounge chairs and a hammock, and then there's like a little gate at the end of your patio, and there's a walkway that belongs to all the people in this category, which isn't like a ton, you know. It's just like a kind of like a one hallway kind of thing, an external hallway, you know. So there's a walkway and then the ocean. So, and at the end of the walkway, you know, at the end of all the rooms, there was a bar, which was like private, like exclusive to people in these rooms during the day. If you wanted to go to the bar, you have to pay for the drinks or get a drink package, but it's exclusive for us to use. And there were 2 private hot tubs, like big hot tubs, for the use of just these people in our section. So that's a great thing, actually, like really great. And right behind the bar that I mentioned, there was a lounge, an indoor lounge. The bar was outside, the lounge was inside, which serves continental breakfast exclusively to us in that section every morning. A really nice continental breakfast, which we only went to once though, because they don't have the hot stuff, obviously, at a continental breakfast. They have everything else, but they don't have like eggs or pancakes, omelets, you know, that stuff they don't have. So we had to go to the full breakfast the other days. But even so, every morning my husband would walk over to that continental breakfast and get a cup of coffee, you know, before everyone else was ready to go to breakfast. It was just super close. And the location of our cabin was very well situated to everything that we needed, you know, like it was just up or down flights depending, you know, if you're going to the buffet or whatever show or this or that. Everything was like right. It was central to everything. You know, you didn't have to keep walking this way, walking that way. It was like up or down. So anyway, we took an Uber to the port in New York to pick up the ship. I mean, that was pretty awful, to be honest. I'd like to figure out a way not to experience that again. We had a reservation for like at 11:30 or something, 12 o'clock, check-in or whatever you call it. Like they only give out a certain number of reservations per time slot, but that certain number could be like 1,000, you know, because the ship holds like something like, I want to say 4,000 people, something. So it's a lot of people. The wait in line to get onto this ship was unbelievable. It was so long, you didn't know how long it was going to be because it kept wrapping around. Like, first you were outside the terminal, in the outdoors. Okay, and it was cold. But they had these big heat lamps. It's like being outside an airport, basically. That's what it looks like. So, once you finally get into the inside part, it goes this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, forever. It had to be at least 2 hours till we set our foot into the ship, and it was horrible. Okay, but after that, everything was just smooth sailing, pretty much. Pardon my pun. Getting off the ship at the end when it was over wasn't that great either, to be honest, but it was quicker. It was probably an hour, as opposed to 2 hours. So anyway, we got on a Saturday, early afternoon. We had lunch there on the ship. Got into our rooms, settled in. We're in New York at that time. It's cold weather, but there's, tons of indoor spaces. Most of the ship is indoors, with the exception of the pool area, some other outdoor things. They have miniature golf and what do you call it, not rock wall climbing, what is it called when you you walk on it's almost like a tightrope around the ship, but it's got some other kind of name. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's like you attach yourself to something and then you just walk around whatever. Okay, they had that. They had tons and tons of activities. They had every sport. They had a basketball court that was outdoors. I think they would turn that into volleyball at times. I don't think there was a separate volleyball court. There was a gym, obviously, and a spa, hairdresser place, stores, tons of restaurants. Just, if you want to know, you could just look up the ship and see they have it all. So, as I said, we got on a Saturday. We got off on a Sunday morning. So that's how long it was. So the first Sunday and Monday, those were sea days. So we're just traveling south from New York down to the Bahamas, and the first port day was Tuesday. We were supposed to stop at their private island, an island owned by the ship, but the weather was bad, and so we couldn't do it. You had to take a little boat from the ship to the dock, and it wasn't safe to take the little boat, because the water was very rocky. It was extremely windy. It was bad weather. So we did not stop there at all. So that turned into another sea day, which was a little disappointing. But it's not like I wouldn't expect that, especially in January. You don't expect shiny skies and down in the Bahamas in January. So we kept going, and that turned into another sea day basically. And then the next day we stopped in Nassau, the Bahamas, and the kids went on an excursion. It was some kind of It was like mid-70s probably. Like, I felt hot. It was like hot and humid, you know? So, all four of us got off the ship. We walked around quite a bit. We didn't do anything like stupendous, like no excursions or activities or anything. But, you know, we got some souvenirs. Like, everybody got a shirt. You know, my son got a shot glass and some playing cards, you know, little things. And then after that day, the rest of the days were sea days till we got back to New York. So we didn't choose this cruise because we wanted to go to the Bahamas, or we thought it was going to be great weather. Like, we've been to the Bahamas a few times already, and like, I would actually like to go to some different places, but the truth is, this is what was available, you know, that fit our schedule. So it wasn't about the ports, it was about, you know, being on a nice ship and being on vacation. So every day they give you one of these fun times. It's like a little pamphlet, leaflet, activity sheet. Okay, and so I didn't save all of them, unfortunately. I just have 4 of them. And each one is made specifically for that day. Like, it's printed with the date, you know, and what you're doing that day. Like, this one, for example, says on it, Saturday, January 13th, enjoy your fun farewell day at sea, you know, whereas other ones say on them, welcome to Nassau, welcome to Half Moon Cay, or enjoy your fun day at sea. Like, so they make them special each day, and then it's filled with all the activities for the day. Like, there's so much going on. So a sea day is not a bad thing. It's like being in summer camp for adults, you know? So the types of activities that we did, we went to a lot of trivia contests. My son loves trivia, you know? Even though none of us ever won, we went to a lot of them. Let's see, some of them were Beatles trivia, Friends, you know, the show Friends, trivia, Game of Thrones trivia, I can't remember. They have tons of them, and we went to quite a few. We went to 2 dancing lessons. We learned how to do the Thriller dance, you know, Michael Jackson's Thriller. We learned the dance. We also learned Tina Turner's dance to Rolling on the River. And let me tell you, the Thriller dance was much more difficult to, like, remember the moves. The Tina Turner dance, the steps were easier, but the Tina Turner dance was much more, like, exhausting. You know, like, you felt like you had an aerobic workout after that one. We went to a lot of comedy shows. They always had, like, one around, like, 3-something, and then another one at, like, 8-something. And then sometimes they'd have, like, a double comedy show at, like, 9:30. You know, different comedians, different acts. Like, there would be a PG comedy show, and then, like, a more adult-geared comedy show where they would check your card to see if you were old enough. They checked my daughter's card a couple of times for the adult ones because they didn't think she was 18, but she's 21. It's pretty typical. That happens, you know. So anyway, the comedy shows were amazing. We didn't go to all of those. We didn't go to any of the 3:30 ones, I don't think, but we went to almost all of the 8-something ones. Great comedians. We saw 4 different comedians while we were on the ship. They had, like, amazing shows at night, every night in this big theater. these little, Broadway shows every night, which were just long enough to keep you interested. Really, truly awesome. My daughter loved those so much. She really, really did. Then, of course, we also spent quite a bit of time in our private hot tub area, which was great because it turned out every time we went in, it was just the four of us. So that was really nice. Got some nice pictures of, my kids like sitting in the hot tub and the ocean right behind them. It was really, really beautiful. But it was, on a lot of the days, freezing cold getting in and getting out. I mean, these were some like really cold sea days coming down from New York and heading back, So that was rough, but it wasn't that far to the room. And of course we did a ton of eating. Eating, and more eating. And then some more eating. Because you could eat all day and all night there. Legit. And I literally made up this expression, like I think I made it up. Near the end of the cruise, it came to me and I said, I regret that I have but one stomach to use at this cruise. Because truthfully, you wished that you wouldn't get full so that you could eat more meals. Even though I said the food was kind of average, you still wanted it. You wanted to go to all these different, spots and everything. It's like they had a Chinese restaurant station, Italian restaurant station, Mexican, a burger place that was Guy Fieri, registered, whatever, trademarked. Plus there was just the regular buffet area. There was all day ice cream from like an ice cream machine that you could just help yourself to. All day coffee, all day lemonade and iced tea. You get what I'm saying. And for every night at dinner, we were registered to eat in this main dining room for your time dining. So whenever you were ready for it, you would check in. And the dining room was beautiful. It was 2 floors and it was designed to look as if there was a river and a gondola going through it. It was really nice. We never got a seat near the gondola though. Never. Not one night. But whatever, what can you do? Let me try a piece of the bread. Their bread is delicious. Especially the brown bread. They gave me some brown bread and some sourdough. I'm just showing you this one. I'm not going to eat both. So if you've never had this, it's pretty sweet. I mean, not like cake, but it's like bread that has a little bit of sweetness to it. We'll see. So let me eat one more chip and take one more sip of soda,